Hey folks, if you are using a camera that's using CFexpress Type B, today I want to explore an option that may give you cheaper cards. Now, Maker Fabs are making this adapter that basically lets you use a particular type of NVMe SSD, and then this adapter, which I mean is all this kind of a housing is, to do a D.I.Y CFexpress. Now, in my opinion, CFexpress Type B is the future for card formats. A is also quite good, but I mean, it is smaller, but it's half the bandwidth and a lower potential capacity limit. They are, however, expensive. If you haven't seen it, I have a free guide where I've compared dozens of different cards, testing the kind of speed you get from them in terms of writing stills, and also what video formats they're able to compare, so you can choose the right one for you. I currently have the Fuji XH2S in, which is using CFexpress Type B, and the Z9, so I thought let's put together their gold adapter. They have a gold and a silver. The gold's meant to have better heat transmission and blah blah. They also send out a 256 gig Kioxia solid state drive that's made by Toshiba. Now, it is going to work out cheaper than buying one, but it's not like, you know, 80% off or something. So I would expect some decent performance from this. So let's DIY the card, and then I have a slow, middle, and top speed card to compare it to. So this should be pretty straightforward. I'm assuming they sent me the card they know performs best, because why wouldn't they? We have the adapter. Nice that it comes with everything you need, the screws, the little screwdriver, and the sticker, which I think is just branding for them. It's not any kind of heatsink. We have the heatsink for inside. So opening it up, very simple. So it's as simple as popping the card into the adapter. Easy. No screw points on the adapter itself. Interesting, actually, that's not the first step. Their online guide says step 1, install the NVMe. Step 1 should be attaching this heatsink. Okay, now let's do that again. Okay, so that's now in, and then we have 6 screws and 2 screw holes. Fair enough. I mean, it doesn't feel like the best quality, but if it does the job. Okay, now the final step they say is to apply the sticker. I think I might just skip that. What's the point of advertising anyway when it's going to be in the camera? And that's quite a flimsy sticker. I don't want that actually coming off inside my camera body. So that was incredibly easy to set up, as is usual with my DIY tasks. Still got 2 spare screws left over that I don't know what they're for. So now let's see how it does in terms of performance. Now, I should say the case itself is $27. The SSD that they send me is $46, so in total that's $73. Now, you're not going to get a 256 gig compact flash, CFexpress, sorry, for even double that. So I'm still going to expect decent results from this. So it's not like you're saving 70% or something to go this route. So let's, of course, the card needs to be formatted. And then a test I did on all the cards in the past was raw 20 frames a second to see how many shots they get before they start buffering. And then, you know, generally they clear almost instantaneously. So let's try it on the Z9. Okay, so that was a pretty hard stop, and it's getting 35 shots off, okay? And it is, however, taking quite a long time to write those. I generally expect that to be instantaneous. Let's compare it to the top card in my previous testing. You can download a free copy of my full test results below. And that's getting more like 70 shots off there. So actually double, and it's all written instantly. What if we compare it to some, like here's a mid-range one. This is the Sony CFexpress Tough. It performed okay in my test, really center of the pack. And that got 46. And then the slowest in my test, and that has already written them all as well, an old XQD card. Now, these are even a little bit difficult to find these days, but let's compare it. That got 34, so this is slightly faster than an XQD, but probably took a little bit longer to actually clear. But comparing it to the others, it's just not in the same ballpark. Let's just try it on the Fuji. It's actually capable of doing 40 frames a second in RAW, and in my other tests, the top cards on it were getting up around, I think 140 shots or so. Okay, yeah, so this is taking a long time to write, but that's a Fuji thing rather than the card. Well, maybe it's both in this case. Still writing. Still writing. Okay, done. And yeah, it got 131. So as I found with this camera before, I think it has a really big internal buffer and it's just starting to write towards the end, so 131. If we compare that to the fastest card, and we wait. So the main difference I'm seeing with the Fuji is much longer writing time with this guy and about 10 or 15 frames fewer. Look, as much as I love to present ways that you can save money with your equipment, I have to say I wouldn't recommend this. Sorry, Maker Fabs, for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's just slower. You're saving maybe $50 or $60 or $70, but if you're really comparing it against like an XQD, which is, you know, the kind of speed you're getting, it's probably actually not much cheaper. And if something goes wrong with this, who do you contact? Fabs? They're going to not take responsibility, or the SSD manufacturer, or wherever you buy that, they're not going to take responsibility. If you have a top-end card, like say an Angelbird, I've heard that they replace cards like in a week and will fix or replace things if you're having issues with them. SanDisk comes with recovery software. Companies that offer, you know, a whole product, it's much easier to deal with than putting things together yourself, because each company is going to blame issues on each other. And if you've spent $2,500–$5,500 on a camera, why are you trying to save $50 on what is the final piece of the puzzle that actually saves your stills and video? It's not going to let you do 4K ProRes or 8K video on it. It's not going to keep up with what your camera is able to do if you're using one of these flagship cameras. And you're putting your data at risk, in my opinion, more so than you would be using an all-in-one solution. So if you just love DIY, if you only need something slow because that's the way you shoot, then maybe it's something for you to consider. Or if you happen to be using a CFexpress Type B camera that isn't high value and you just want a cheap solution. But otherwise, I would say go for something from a reputable brand that has the speed and specifications that you require. Check out the full list of my findings below, and whilst you're over there, you can check out my full Nikon Z expert setup guide and my guide to travel photography. Let me know any questions that you have, and I'll see you soon.